All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The playoffs begin at Watkins, Glen. Jared Swaim and Derek Schilling on the front row. Mark Bruning and Mark Nelson on the second. Rod Potgieter, Daryl Klotz on the third row. Kevin Bruner, Larry Tittle on the fourth row. Gerald Thanos Poole and Gil Guac rounding out the top 10. Ryan Warp starts in 11th next to James Lacey. Jerry Bergeron starts in 13th. Tim St. Jean in 14th. Jay Salmon in 15th. Mike Burgess in 16th. John Shermott's in 17th. Stuart Wright rounding out the 18-car field. I did not see Jay Salmon on track at all during practice, qualifying, or warm-up. Yep, Sketch, the Unicorn is playing tonight. Rumor has it in Europe. Ryan Warp will start from pit road. Sketch cheering on the Mark Nelson. Mark came into the playoffs with a big head start due to his bonus points. And second place in the points, Jeff Oakes is not here. A big surprise, Oakes not being here. He is one of the best on the road courses. Watkins Glen, there is the shape, a 2.42 mile track. They do have a longer configuration, but this is the NASCAR configuration. 78 degree air temperature. The track is going up to 118. Only 1 degree higher than practice. But as they lay down rubber, it's liable to come up a few more degrees. Thankfully, the weather is set. We shouldn't see a huge jump. But any higher temps, they will definitely have an impact, especially up through the S's and coming out of the bus stop. Into the penultimate turn, getting ready. The Porsche pace car will go to pit road. They will only need one fuel stop here tonight. Most drivers will take tires. Here we go. Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air. They are down and away at Watkins Glen. Remember, these drivers do not have a fast repair tonight. Whoa! Looked like there was some problems back behind. Jerry Bergeron has some damage to the back of his car. Looks like he might have been getting a little bumped on the start. Jared Swaim coming through the bus stop. Schilling, man, he was sending it through there. Open the door. Mark Bruning is through. Mark Nelson lurking back behind. Schilling has the run. And Schilling takes the spot back. Jared Swaim has the lead as they cross the start-finish line for lap 1. See if we can see what happened. Looked like Gerald pulled back behind. Might have had a problem on the start. Coming down the inside into turn one. Oh! Looked like Bertrand got a bump from behind. Got into Gerald. Everybody saves it. And we'll take a quick look. We saw this battle a moment ago. Derek Schilling through the bus stop. Mark Bruning comes out a little bit lower, gets underneath Schilling. This is the battle for second. But Bruning gets a little bit loose coming out of the turn. Schilling shoots back by. Well, we appreciate every moment, Sketch. Jay Salmon is having some problems back behind. He has gone to pit road. We'll take a look here in just a moment. Derek Schilling still holding on to second. Bruning in third. Mark Nelson in fourth. Potgieter in fifth. Klotz in sixth. Kevin Bruner in seventh. Gerald Poole up to eighth. Larry Tittle in ninth. Gil Guac in 10th. Jerry Bertrand up 2 spots into 11th. John Shermont's up 5 spots into 12th. James Lacey currently in 13th. Tim St. Jean in 14th. Mike Burgess up to 15th. Stuart Ryan in 16th. And Ryan Warp in 17th. Jared Swain just set the fastest lap so far out front. Schilling went a little bit wide. Is Bruning going to make an attack? He does. Schilling backed out of it into that turn. Bruning goes a bit wide. The back and forth between these two so far has been great. Mark Nelson, Rod Potgieter lurking right behind. Larry Tittle just shot by Gerald Poole into the S's to take 8th. And Mike Burgess has had a problem. There's Salmon. We mentioned he was having problems earlier. Coming into that last turn, we talked about it pre-race. That is a dangerous spot right there. Mike Burgess headed toward turn 1. Another spot we mentioned will cause problems, and Burgess on the power. The back end steps out. He goes to the inside wall. Shouldn't have any damage. He stopped and just barely tapped it. Jared Swaim has checked out from the field. His lead now 5.8 seconds. Mark Bruning in second, Schilling in third. Mark Nelson in fourth, Poggeter in fifth. Mark and Kevin Brenner were talking in pre-race about the fact that this car is so hard on road courses. You turn anything beyond about 4 or 5% on the wheel, and the back end just wants to go around. Drivers having to be extremely careful here tonight. Jay Salmon is back out on track after a prolonged pit stop, just coming off pit road at the bottom of the S's. He is a few laps down now, but staying in the fight. This is where Bruning and Schilling have been back and forth through the bus stop and the turn after. Back on full power right there. No problems this time. Larry Tittle has moved into 8th place, is closing the gap on 7th place. Kevin Bruner with Daryl Klotz and Rod Poggeter right in front of him. Oh! Salmon is around. And let's take a lap around the track with Kevin Bruner crossing the start-finish line down into turn 1. Back on the power, you see the back end just twitches a little bit. These cars, not a lot of rear grip up through the S's. Yet easing back into the power till the car straightens up, then full throttle toward the bus stop. Into the bus stop, a couple of downshifts. Ease back onto the power as you come through the right-hander. Then back to full power down the short straightaway. Back on the brakes, shifting back down into the left-hander. And a little bobble on power, then into the final turn. Back to full power, headed toward the start-finish line. Kevin Bruner did that lap in 1:17.01. Jay Salmon has had a couple of more problems, has gone to pit road. There's Jay coming toward the second to last turn. Just a little too deep into the turn on the brakes, goes around. Whoa, close call as he comes back on the track. Gerald Poole had a little bit of a moment here. Oh, he had to go extremely wide to avoid Salmon. Looked like Stuart Wright had to as well. A little blink out of the leader, but Jared Swaim is not bothered by anything. He's got a 9-second lead over Mark Bruning, Derek Schilling, and Mark Nelson. Rod Potgieter still holding on to 5th, but unable to stay with the top 4. Darrell Klotz back in 6th, has Kevin Bruner on his bumper in 7th. Larry Tittle in 8th was gaining some ground, but last time by he went extremely wide through the penultimate corner and going a little wide there as well. Oh! Jared a little wide through turn 1. Tim St. Jean just moved up into 12th, got past Bergeron in 13th. Laps to go, but more importantly, all the drivers are now within their fuel window. And it looks like last time by, Stuart Wright actually took the option. He is the first one to complete his stop. I suspect we will see the majority of the field in around 15 to go. Kevin Bruner just moved up into 6th, past Darrell Klotz. Stuart Wright tried to get to pit road. Looks like he may have had a problem. There's Stuart coming through that final turn. Gets a little loose. Does get it rolling again as we saw. I'm not sure if he was trying to get to pit road or the car just got loose on him. Jared Swaim has just came into lap traffic. He just went by 16th place Mike Burgess. James Lacey is closing in on Jerry Bergeron and Ryan Warp just ahead. But Jared Swaim just seems to be in a whole nother dimension than the rest of the field here tonight. Derek Schilling has slipped back to 4th. The Mark Nelson now into 3rd. Sets his sights on 2nd place, Mark Bruning. Ron Potgieter back in 5th, trying to close back in on 4th place. Derek Schilling. Schilling had a bit of a gap on Mark. Let's see what happened, how Mark made the move. Coming, looks like down, up out of the S's, down the straightaway, and Schilling backs out as they go into the bus stop. Whoa, close through the bus stop. And Mark Nelson takes 3rd. I do know some of these drivers have the tendency to conserve some fuel here. But more importantly, conserve tires. Some of these drivers will use them up a little bit too early. Mark Nelson, one of those drivers that conserves his tires in the early going. Could even see Mark not changing tires. Mark is closing the gap on Bruning, now less than 2 seconds behind. And Bruning has started to gain ground on Jared Swaim. He has gained a full second on him. The gap now just 8.4. Last time by, Swaim's speed was way off. Swaim's fastest lap, a 114.44. Last time by, 118.19. See what his time is when he comes by the start-finish line this time. Could his tires have been used up? Nope, that time by 116.5. Mark Bruning 117.5 that time. Mark Nelson now just 1.3 seconds behind Bruning. More importantly, at the moment, Mark Nelson is a few hundredths of a second faster than the leader, but he's going to have to find a lot more speed to close that 10-second gap to the leader. Derek Schilling still holding on to 4th. He is pulling further away from Potgieter in 5th. Kevin Bruner back in 6th. He might need to worry. Larry Tittle's closing in on him. Darrell Klotz back in 8th. Gerald Poole in 9th is starting to gain some ground on Klotz. I keep telling these guys, put some Navy Joe coffee in the gas tank. Derek Schilling has given up 4th. He is the first driver in. Swaim's lead back to almost 9.5 seconds over Bruning. Gil Guac is on pit road. Tim St. Jean is going to stay out. Looks like Ryan Warp is going to bring it in. James Lacey will stay out. We mentioned Mark Nelson is surprisingly giving up third. He is in. Poggeter in fourth. He is in. Kevin Bruner stays out. Larry Tittle comes around. He stays out as well. The leader coming out of the bus stop. Will he be in this time? He can't let guys like Mark Nelson get too many laps on fresher tires than him. Mark Nelson only took 2 tires on his stop. Derek Schilling took 4 tires on his, as did Ron Poggeter. And the leader is on pit road. Mark Bruning gives up second. He is in. Will the leader take tires, or will this be a fuel-only stop? Left side tires are on. Right side tires going on. It'll be 4 tires and fuel for the leader. Bruner stays out. Bruner to the lead for the first time. Jared Swaim rolling off pit road. Mark Nelson in third, closing in rapidly. But will 2 tires be fast enough to catch 4 tires? Darrell Klotz, Larry Tittle, Gerald Poole, all on pit road. Tim St. Jean, James Lacey, both have not been in yet. They will be the last 2, along with Kevin Bruner, to come in. Bruner likely staying out, trying to pick up some bonus points here for leading a lap. He will get it done, as Jared Swaim has caught up to Kevin Bruner and they come into lap traffic. Ryan Warp in 14th, just ahead. Looked like Swaim did not have a ton of grip as he came through the S's. Cold tires likely being the issue. Ryan Warp moves high, lets the leader by. Kevin Bruner now in second, Mark Nelson in third, Mark Bruning in fourth, Derek Schilling in fifth. Remember, Bruner has not been to pit road yet. Bruner staying out to pick up a few bonus points. Will he be in? This time it looks like he is coming in. Leaving only Tim St. Jean and James Lacey to complete pit stops. Last time by, Mark Nelson was faster than the leader, but the gap is still 8.9 seconds. Mark Bruning not far behind in third, Derek Schilling in fourth, Rod Poggeter back in fifth. Bruning is closing the gap on Mark at the moment. Tim St. Jean is in. James Lacey coming in. They will complete the cycle of stops. Jared Swaim starting to extend his lead once again. Meanwhile, back behind in 7th place, John Shermont has been on the march all night. He started in 17th, has worked his way to 7th. Angie Louise, make sure we get our Angies right here. Cheering on Derek Schilling. Derek in 4th, trying to close. Back up on Mark Bruning. Mark Nelson a little bit wide there. And Bruning almost to his bumper. Jared Swaim apparently just decided to take a little cruise around New York tonight and figured he'd do it with some other cars on the track. But he has not been fazed by anyone here tonight. He has dominated this thing. His lead now 11.3 seconds and growing. Mark Nelson and Mark Bruning into heavy lap traffic. They go high around Jerry Bergeron. Jerry Bergeron, a former home motorsports champ, is one of the faster drivers in the field. Surprising to see him losing a lap here. John Shermont's in 7th, about 7 seconds back from Kevin Bruner, but a second and a half a lap faster than Bruner with 7 laps to go. If he keeps this pace up, he will be able to get to 6th. What a run for Shermont. Said he had a better qualifying run. Who knows, he might be up there giving Swaim a run for his money. Jared Swaim just out for a cruise. Mark Bruning back on the bumper of Mark Nelson. Don't forget, folks, right after the broadcast, the Unicorn is leading the convoy as they go trucking. I believe they are Euro trucking tonight. So tune in for some laughs Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and the YouTube. Remember, you can find all the previous home motorsports races on our YouTube channel, along with all the shorts and highlights from those races. Mark is pushing the limits. Mark Nelson is pushing the limits, trying to keep Mark Bruning behind him. Everywhere Mark Nelson goes, he races another Mark. On Sunday nights in BRR, he's racing Mark Dantuma. Here tonight, he's racing Mark Bruning. The Marks are taking over, folks. Jared Swain back in lap traffic as Mike Burgess just ahead. Gil Guan currently sitting in 10th place, is the last car on the lead lap. Jared Swain has already lapped 8 other cars. Burgess going wide to let the leader by. Four laps to go. We already know who the winner is. Just going to come down to who finishes second and third. Unless something dramatic happens to Swain, he has this thing locked up. His lead now 13 1/4 seconds. Derek Schilling back in fourth. Has a big gap behind on Rod Potgieter, but he is not gaining any ground on the marks ahead. Potgieter in fifth, Kevin Bruner in sixth. John Shermont's in seventh, now just 3.5 seconds behind Kevin Bruner. Darrell Klotz has just gone by Bergeron to take 13th. Jerry dropping back to 14th. John Shermont's definitely the biggest mover of the night. Jared Swain, our current leader, came into the playoffs 9th in points. He is way back from the Mark Nelson, but tonight is the start of him putting a dent in it. Sketch, that really is. Oh, Nelson goes a bit wide again. He is not exceeding the track limits. He is good there. But it looked like Bruning almost got the run on him. Sketch, I don't know, but I will recommend that they take that car to tech immediately after the race. Swaim has just been extraordinarily fast tonight. Mark Nelson started to put some space between him and Bruning. Shermont's now just 2.7 seconds behind Bruner. He is still closing, but he is running out of time. Jared Swaim has picked up the white flag one more time around for him. Mark Nelson and Mark Bruning have picked up the white flag. Derek Schilling coming through in fourth. He'll get one to go. Rod Podgeter in fifth. Jared Swaim just 2 turns away from victory lane. He qualified on the pole. Shot out ahead on the first lap and has not looked in his mirror since. He's got a 15-second lead coming through the final turn. He could coast it in and pull off the win. Jared Swaim wins the first race of the playoffs. Mark Nelson coming across the line. Bruning making one last effort. Mark Nelson comes home second. Bruning in third. Derek Schilling will come home in fourth. Rod Podgeter in fifth. Kevin Bruner coming home in sixth, has held off Shermont. But 5 more laps, Shermont would have taken it. Let's see if we can get a word with second place, Mark Nelson. Mark, I have to say, it looked at one point that you had been conserving tires. You were starting to gain some ground on the leader, but after pit stops, he was gone again.
Yeah, Jared put on a clinic for us today, and as soon as I saw what he ran in practice, I was like, all right, racing for second.
Well, I have to say, man, it was a great run, and I think they're going to request Jared's car in tech because, man, that thing was flying, but still a great job and a great battle for second, buddy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Doug.
And our winner, Jared Swaim. Jared, we had a couple of people ask in the comments, did you have nitrous in the car tonight?
Nah, I just felt like I had a great car tonight. I just really thought I did. I think I just wanted to win so bad. It's been so tough the last couple weeks not getting a win, honestly.
Well, you definitely got it done tonight, and in quite a big fashion. Just over 15 seconds was the gap. I mentioned out of the final turn, you could have coasted downhill and still pulled off the win.
Yeah, that would have been nice, but in this series, you kind of just got to go to the finish line, you know what I mean?
Oh, I definitely do, man. You, like Mark said, you put on one heck of a clinic here tonight. A really dominant win, buddy. Congratulations.
Thanks, Doug. Thank you very much.
Jared Swaim dominates at Watkins Glen. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget, come back here in just a few moments. The Unicorn will be leading the convoy trucking in Europe. We will see you guys here shortly. Have a great evening, y'all.